Why Glen Campbell's children didn't inherit his millions. Glen Campbell was a multifaceted American musician, singer, and songwriter whose career spanned over 5 decades. Born on April 22, 1936, in Billstown, Arkansas, he was one of 12 children in a deeply musical family. From a young age, Campbell was exposed to a variety of genres, and by the age of 4, he was already proficient in playing the guitar. His early life was marked by the challenges of growing up in a poor, rural environment, but his extraordinary musical talent began to shine through, leading him to pursue a career in music. Campbell's big break came in the 1960s when he moved to Los Angeles and became a sought-after session musician. He played on a wide range of recording sessions for some of the biggest names in music, including Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and the Beach Boys. His work as part of the famous Wrecking Crew, a group of highly skilled session musicians, helped shape the sound of pop and rock music during that era. One of his most notable contributions was playing guitar on the Beach Boys' album Pet Sounds, including the iconic track, Good Vibrations. However, it was in the 1960s and 1970s that Campbell's career truly took off as a solo artist. His smooth voice, polished guitar playing, and charming personality won over fans worldwide. His biggest hits, such as Rhinestone Cowboy, Wichita Lineman, and By the Time I Get to Phoenix, made him a household name. His ability to blend country, pop, and rock influences set him apart and established him as a versatile performer. Rhinestone Cowboy, in particular, became an anthem for the American working class and remains one of his signature songs. Its success marked the peak of Campbell's mainstream popularity, reaching #1 on the charts and cementing his place in music history. In addition to his musical success, Campbell became a beloved television personality. His own variety show, The Glen Campbell Good Time Hour, ran from 1969 to 1972, showcasing his wit, charisma, and musical talents. The show was a platform for both musical performances and comedy sketches, and it featured notable guests such as Johnny Cash, Bob Hope, and many of Campbell's fellow music legends. This exposure on television helped him reach a broader audience, further solidifying his place in the pop culture landscape. Despite his commercial success, Campbell's personal life was often turbulent. He struggled with addiction issues, and his relationships were often rocky, including multiple marriages. However, his ability to continue making music through the ups and downs of his personal life speaks to his resilience and determination. In the 1980s, he faced challenges in maintaining his place in the music industry but found a resurgence in popularity thanks to his appearances on country music award shows and his enduring appeal as a live performer. Campbell's later years were marked by a battle with Alzheimer's disease, which he was diagnosed with in 2011. Despite his health struggles, Campbell continued to tour and perform, even embarking on a farewell tour that was documented in the poignant 2014 film Glen Campbell, I'll Be Me. This film captured his courageous final years, offering a glimpse into the emotional and physical toll of the disease. His bravery in facing Alzheimer's and his commitment to continuing his musical career resonated deeply with fans, and his legacy was honored through this documentary, which highlighted his contributions to the music world and his enduring influence. Glen Campbell, the legendary country music icon, achieved incredible success during his career, amassing both fame and fortune. Known for hits such as Rhinestone Cowboy, Campbell's life was marked by musical brilliance, personal struggles, and complicated family dynamics. Despite his immense wealth at the time of his death in 2017, many of his children did not inherit his millions, and the reasons behind this decision are multifaceted and rooted in a combination of legal, personal, and financial factors. Glen Campbell's family life was tumultuous, and it played a significant role in how his estate was handled after his death. Over the years, Campbell was married multiple times and fathered children from these various marriages. At the time of his passing, he had been married to his fourth wife, Kimberly Woolen, for over 3 decades. This marriage produced 3 children, but Campbell had several other children from his previous relationships, including a notable number from his third wife, Sarah Barg, with whom he had 3 children. His complicated family structure, with multiple ex-wives and children, made his estate planning complicated. Each marriage, divorce, and the children born from those unions meant Campbell had to navigate complex legal and financial hurdles to ensure that his estate was distributed according to his wishes. One of the main reasons Campbell's children didn't inherit his millions was because of the way his estate was structured. According to reports, his final will did not include many of his children as primary beneficiaries. Instead, his estate went to his widow, Kimberly, and their 3 children. This arrangement raised eyebrows, as it meant that some of his older children from previous marriages were left out of significant portions of the inheritance. It's not entirely clear why Campbell made these decisions, but it is likely that his will was influenced by a combination of his personal relationships, his financial advisors, and his desire to provide for his surviving wife and children in their later years. Given that he was already in the later stages of Alzheimer's disease at the time of drafting his will, it's possible that his cognitive decline affected his ability to make clear and rational decisions regarding his estate. Glen Campbell's health deteriorated over the years due to Alzheimer's disease, a condition that ravaged his mind and memory. He was diagnosed with the disease in 2011, which led to his retirement from touring and performing. His struggle with Alzheimer's was well documented, as he bravely continued to tour for several years after his diagnosis, even though the disease had begun to affect his cognitive abilities. The financial decisions made during his declining health are believed to have played a role in the distribution of his estate. Legal battles over his estate, including disputes over his will and the distribution of assets, became a significant issue for the family. The primary concern for many of Campbell's children was that they were not adequately provided for in light of the significant wealth he had accumulated during his career. In addition to the influence of his health, Glen Campbell's financial management and estate planning were critical factors in why his children did not inherit his millions. In the years leading up to his death, Campbell had to deal with financial challenges stemming from mismanagement, lawsuits, and debts. His extravagant lifestyle, combined with the costs associated with his health care, may have diminished his fortune in the final years of his life. Despite his success, Campbell was not known for being particularly savvy when it came to managing his wealth. Throughout his career, he struggled with substance abuse issues, including alcohol and prescription drug addiction, which at times hindered his financial decision-making. It is possible that the money he accumulated throughout his career was not properly invested or protected, leaving it vulnerable to legal issues and debts. Furthermore, there were reports that Campbell had been involved in legal disputes over royalties and contracts, which could have depleted his estate. The combination of these financial troubles and the pressures of managing a large family likely contributed to why many of his children were not the main recipients of his wealth. Another crucial factor in the inheritance issue was the role played by Campbell's 4th wife, Kimberly Woolen. As his primary caretaker during the final years of his life, Kimberly likely had significant influence over his estate and financial decisions. She had been with Campbell for over 3 decades, and their 3 children were likely seen as the primary beneficiaries, particularly since Kimberly was the one who managed the family's financial affairs during Campbell's illness. The fact that Campbell had been married to Kimberly for so long may have made it easier for her to secure a larger portion of the estate. She had been instrumental in managing his healthcare needs, making her an important part of the final decisions regarding how his wealth would be divided. However, this left some of Campbell's older children feeling marginalized and excluded from the inheritance. After Glen Campbell's passing, his estate became a subject of legal disputes and public scrutiny. Some of Campbell's children from earlier marriages, who had been left out of the will, contested the distribution of his assets. They argued that they had not been adequately provided for and sought to claim a portion of the estate. These legal battles centered around the validity of Campbell's will and whether or not it reflected his true intentions. The legal disputes were complicated by the fact that Campbell had created multiple versions of his will throughout his life, each with different provisions for his children and spouse. These varying wills, combined with Campbell's declining health and the pressures of his Alzheimer's diagnosis, made it difficult for the courts to determine his true wishes. In the end, a significant portion of the estate went to his widow and children from their marriage, while some of his older children received only a fraction of what they had hoped for. The public nature of Glen Campbell's estate struggles further highlighted the tensions within his family. The media closely followed his health decline, his retirement from the spotlight, and the subsequent legal battles over his estate. This created a level of public drama that brought even more attention to the issues surrounding his inheritance. For his children, the media's portrayal of their struggles to inherit a portion of their father's fortune was a source of public embarrassment and frustration. They were not only dealing with the emotional toll of losing their father, but also with the added pressure of being caught in the public eye during the legal battles. The media's coverage of these disputes added a layer of complexity to an already challenging family dynamic. Glen Campbell passed away on August 8, 2017, at the age of 81, after a long battle with Alzheimer's disease. His death marked the end of an era in country music, but his work lives on through the timeless songs he created, the unforgettable performances he delivered, and the hearts he touched throughout his career. Fans, peers, and music critics alike continue to celebrate his contributions to the world of music, remembering him not only as a remarkable performer but also as a person who faced his challenges with grace and dignity.